Hi, I'm Viv Grant and I'm the Director of Integrity Coaching. Integrity Coaching is a company that serves to meet the needs of school leaders, particularly head teachers, deputies and assistant heads. And really our core purpose is around enabling those school leaders to overcome the stresses of their roles so that they really are able to maintain their passion and their vision for creating better futures, better schools for our children. Oh, but where do I start? Why did I start my own business and why did I set up Integrity Coaching? Well, I suppose the reason behind that is I was a head teacher myself. And when I became a head, no one told me just how lonely that role could be. No one told me how emotionally draining that role could be. And yes, I did the job and I did the job well. But there were really key moments when I was leading that school, either when it was facing challenging parents or children who are really traumatised and having to deal with their behaviour, or even just the standard things of complaints. And when I'd really withdraw into myself, and yet outwardly everyone saw confident Viv, happy Viv, but inside there were times when I was really hurting. And it was really just a case of when I left headship thinking things need to change. This isn't the right way if we want people to be at their best. We need something that gets alongside head teachers in a more personal and humane way so they can do the job in the way in which they first imagined they'd be able to do so. So that's the reason why I set up Integrity, to provide that humane, personalised support for school leaders. There are so many things that are important to me in this business. I think one of the things is that our heads do an amazing job, our school leaders do an amazing job, and they are not fully recognised for how valuable the work is that they do. And we see so much in the press that actually is derogatory towards our school leaders. We see so much in the press that if we were to pay attention to it, we'd recognise the level of sacrifice our school leaders are making day in, day out, so that our children, and deservedly so, could get the best futures possible. And going back to your question, what's important to me is that we look after our school leaders in the right way. People forget that actually our school leaders are on a journey that's about enabling our children to be great. But if we want our children to be great, we need our school leaders to be great. And if we need our school leaders to be great, we need to recognise the right type of support systems and structures that need to be put in place so that they can be great and so that they can fulfil the visions that they have for themselves and for our children. So that's one of the first things that's important to me. I think secondly, what's really important to me is that we change the narrative that exists around what it means for school improvement or to support school leaders. We've yet to recognise that really that school leadership, improving schools, I would say is a humanitarian effort. And it's something that we need to recognise, and we need to change the narrative so that it becomes more humane. It is more understanding of the emotional aspect of what it means to be a school leader, so that when we talk about supporting school leaders, we aren't just talking about the operational and strategic sides of it, which are really important, but we recognise there are psychological and emotional aspects which are equally as important. So that's the second point really in terms of what's really important to me, that we recognise school leadership is a humanitarian endeavour, and because it is so, we need to put in the support systems that recognise that our school leaders are human beings. The advice that I would give is that you can't do this job alone. It's a lonely job. And if you're really going to succeed in the role, then you need to have that private, personalised space that allows you to actually come to terms with who you are developing into in your role, so that you have a greater understanding of your emotional intelligences. You have a greater understanding of what it means for you to be emotionally resilient. And that is something that is very often done in a private, confidential space. When people engage in our services, we leave them feeling uplifted, we leave them feeling energised, we leave them feeling reconnected back to their vision, their passion and their purpose, and really feeling that they are able to create better futures for our children.